A very, very good evening to you all, viewers, friends, and families. A very good evening to you all. I trust that you have had a blessed week, fantastic weekend. In the midst of it all, we thank God. If you are alive and I am alive, we thank God for this opportunity that He has given us to be able to be here. As long as there is life, there is hope. Thank you so much for joining us on here tonight. Kindly, please do me a favor by sharing this chat so that others can partake in it. Welcome me to this platform. Don't judge me. I'm a single parent. My name is Pastor Floris Lyman. Just to let us know the few reasons for the existence of this platform. Number one, this is part of my testimony, and I wrote a book, and that's the title of the book. Don't judge me, I'm a single parent. This is as a result of my experience. I never knew what it meant to be a single parent. But wow, by the special grace of God, I've walked through that experience, and I can understand how it feels for other people to be in that shoe. So that's one of the reasons this platform was created, to encourage as many that I can, to let them know that they are not alone. If you're doing a business, if you are, if you have any other thing that you're doing to support you, advertise your business, advertise your work, celebrate the work that your children are doing. Let's remove our focus from the negative press that is going on there. Also, if you would like to share your story, you're more than welcome to contact me on my email, florislimon@yahoo.co.uk. So we will be starting, let me say, in the next 1 minute, just to allow people to log on. So welcome once again. Welcome once again. Thank you all for joining us. Last week, I had a fine gentleman with me, Master Michael Ebuchwe. Master Michael is a DP. He's an IT person. I did say earlier on, if you have IT issues and you would like to consult him, just please do let me know. In this season, a lot of us need to work on and improve and develop our IT skills. We're using Zoom, we're using other networks. So if you're interested, I will happily refer Pastor Ebuchwe to you. He's a father, he's married, and like I introduced him last week, and many others could attest to it, he's a man of integrity, he's a man of caliber. He's like a brother to me. And I know the role that he has played in the lives of my own children, and all the support he has given to me and my family, because those are one of the things that we were talking about last week. So we didn't finish our conversation last week, as the conversation got very, very hot. This was a man giving his own viewpoint on single parenting, so that he didn't want to feel like it was just us women talking about this, because there are single and parent fathers out there, many for that matter. So, and there was quite a few requests that Michael should come back and continue this conversation. So, as you can see from my title today, the role of fathers as role models. Now, somebody might want to say, well, there are some fathers at home, but they are not really doing anything in the lives of their children. So does that make them a role model by just being at home? Obviously not. We're going to be talking about some of those And also for a father that is outside of the home, does that stop you from being a role model to your children? It's very, very important. Um, just to let you know, we are very balanced on here. If we have to talk about our roles as women, we've dealt with a lot of issues that women are, the number is higher when it comes to women that deal with such issues. But at the moment, we are dealing with issues that has to do with the absence of fathers or the lack of responsibility of some of our fathers in the lives of their children, especially in this part of the world. So please, men, you're more than welcome to join us on here and to participate in the conversation. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Michael's family and friends, anyone that is on here. I don't seem to be seeing people, but I can see that some people are on there. Can't see any comments, but I welcome you all to this platform. So, Vicky Michael, you are welcome once again. Thank you so much for taking time out, of your family time. I really appreciate you taking time out to be on here again tonight. So we welcome you, Michael. Say hi to our viewers.
Thank you, Pastor Flores. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I know last week we started this conversation and we touched on quite a few things, and one of the things we touched on was really, I remember when you were talking about how stressful it was for you sometimes when you didn't have your father around, or you didn't have like a male figure to talk to about some things, and you started touching on the role of fathers in the lives of their children, whether they are living at home with them, or maybe, let me say, they are estranged, or maybe they have been separated from the mothers of their children. Does that stop their role? What should they do in order for them to be role models to their children? Over to you, Michael.
Thank you so much, Pastor Flores. Yes, regarding the male role model, yeah, at some point you do need that male role model, and I can speak from a male point of view. I'm not so sure about the younger girls, growing up into women, how they deal with the challenges, but I can only speak from my point of view. Yeah, there comes a time when, yeah, mom is there, but you want that male, you want an advice from a male. It's that coming to a stage for me where I begin to think to myself, I would like a clear understanding how to navigate a life as a man, to understand the responsibility of a man. What things should I be doing at a certain stage in my life? Some questions I have, directions that I want to take, that I just need that male kind of oomph to say, yeah, you can do it. You can go for it. And just someone to observe, basically, to kind of follow. I kind of had a longing for that at some point. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things when I think about that as well. Is sometimes when you now have certain males around, so it's not just any male, it has to be good male role model, because I will share this, I won't be specific with names, due to the sensitive nature and personal kind of issues around that. That kind of came into my life at some point. And I remember saying to this guy that, so this was a relationship in the family. I remember saying to this guy, oh, you know what? I'm really burdened about the way things, and this was years ago in my teenage years. I was a teenager. I've just turned about 18, 19 thereabouts. I remember telling him that I really, honestly, this thing really, I really don't like how things are going on in Nigeria and so on and so on. You know what? If I have money, if I make it, I really want to go back there and change things. Oh, Lord. That was me speaking out the passion and the desires in my heart. The guy turns around and tells me, look, forget about that. If you have your money, enjoy yourself here. Don't forget about all that kind of stuff. Yeah, forget about that. I remember looking at this guy. I felt so discouraged. I thought, wow, if someone as old as he is telling me to just forget about it, is my reasoning wrong? Is my reasoning faulty? Is this desire faulty? This desire for justice and change? To want to go into politics at a very young age. That was the desire. The way he just said, forget about that. If you have money, my friend, just enjoy yourself here. Wow. That is not the kind of role model I'm looking for, whose idea of life is just make money and just enjoy yourself, just have a good time, just spend money, what they call live life. I wanted purpose. I wanted to effect change, positive change in people's lives. Maybe I thought to myself, okay, maybe my ambition is a bit too big and just crazy. These were now the thoughts coming into my mind. So it is really important to have that male role model that will say, okay, what is your plan to go about this? How do you want to achieve it? Who can offer you practical help? How can I be of help here? Okay, here is information I found. That's the kind of encouragement. That's the kind of stuff I was looking for. But I was really disappointed. And it's not something, it's not something as a father or someone as a father figure you should be doing, tearing down dreams instead of building them up. That kind of father figure or that kind of person might as well be out of the way. What positive impact do you have in my life? What positive impact is that? So we need to be careful as fathers. Yeah. Should I continue or?
Thank you. Apologies. I think I had a little bit of delay there. Thank you. So, number one thing you are saying here, Mr. Ebuchwe, is that as fathers, we need to be those that lift their children up. And we're talking about this. You might not be a father that's at home. You might be a father that you've been separated from your children's mother. That does not stop you from lifting your child up, from helping them to achieve their dreams. Just giving them a pat on the back to say, you know what, sometimes it'll be just a phone call to say, I'm calling to check on you. What's this project? What's your career that you're doing? How can I support you? How can I help you? Because I think the things that stop our men, our fathers sometimes, is the hurt that they might have gone to. There are several factors. So sometimes a father will say, your mother is not interested in me. And that bitterness can just translate to the children, and that can affect the amount of support that a father is supposed to give, to the child. I'm just thinking, let us leave the children outside. No matter what has happened between the relationship of you and your baby's mother or your child's mother, as a father, try to be there as much as you can. I've seen some fathers complain that they do their best to try and support. But sometimes because of still the tension, or maybe the mother is not satisfied with the level of support and all of those things. So I do understand that sometimes it can be challenging for some fathers that are really making the effort, to be of support to their children in that sense. But I want to say, don't give up. You have to do what you have to do, because Some fathers have just abandoned their responsibilities. Some fathers have abandoned not only physically, emotionally, and socially, financially, it's been abandoned. So not being there as a father. There is this parable that there's this saying, we come from an African background, and there's this saying that when children are doing well, they are successful, the father gets all the glory. But when things go bad with the child, oh my days, it's the mother that gets all the stigma and the flogging and all of those sorts. So, but you can see sometimes you see a father comes in to celebrate their child's graduation. Boy, oh boy, maybe they've never been there, or maybe they've only been there for like twice a year, or very limited amount of time. But when that child is celebrating success, the father will show up. The beauty about it is that children don't forget what we do to them. So you've seen some children have a go at their parents and say, "You were never there." That's not what we want for our children to say to us tomorrow. "You were never there. When did you support me? When did you give me a pat on the back? When did you give me a phone call to say, you look a bit stressed. Talk to me or pray with me as a father, encourage me." So yes, really helping to build up the dream of your child as a father is so important. Money cannot buy that. It takes our mouth to speak it out. Some things don't need money for it to happen successfully. Thank you so much. So yes, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Yusuf. Thank you, Beth. Now, thank you, Minister Carol. Mr. Carol said, that's not fair on the children. Yes, I am. She was just concurring to the statement I made. Some fathers just leave without looking back. Lady Beth says it's so important for us as singles with children to surround ourselves with men who have ambition. I know, Dickie Michael, you are always hinging on this. Men who have ambition and are godly and have a goal to go ahead in life. Be around men who speak life, because let's be real, we're talking about reality here. Some of us men, we have just lost our place in the society, in the community. I believe in the place of a man. The place of a man that God has established since day one. It cannot be changed. But you know what? God can always replace people. My pastor always says this: God can always replace people because he's not waiting. It's just like we say, time and tide waits for no man. So if you are there, you're not looking after your child, you're not there for your child, and another man comes into the child's life, maybe your wife or your other half has moved on, and that other person comes into that child's life, and the child now sees them as a father figure in their life. And sometimes for some of us, our men, you now start getting upset. But you were not there. Where were you? Why did you lose out on the opportunity to be there for your child so that no other person can replace you? But it is never too late. It is never too late. Michael,
Yes.
Continue, because you wanted to move on to another point.
I think it's quite interesting. You mentioned the fathers that abandon their children. It's especially relative to relationships that are broken.
Mm-hmm.
So a case where father is no longer with the mother of the child. You have to take responsibility as a man. There is no way out. Often what we see is the women having no way out. They have to deal with the situation. What I want to see is men saying to themselves and holding themselves accountable and saying, look, I have no way out. I have to stick in this. Look, you thought you were mature enough when you were making babies. You see, anyone can go and make babies, but not everyone can father a child. And sometimes I even see that in parenting, whether man or woman. A child is going the wrong way because there is no parenting happening. They have parents, but there is no parenting. So parents that are not functioning, the same way you have, well, biological dads, or some people will call them sperm donors. Don't be a sperm donor. Be a father. It is your responsibility. There is no escaping. Even if, and some women do, gave you a hard time, even if the woman is being unreasonable, know what the goal is. The goal is to be a present father in the life of that child. Is to be a positive impact, to play your role in shaping that child's view of life, in molding that child so that they can become secure, responsible, useful people in society. Don't let what someone else is doing or not doing be an excuse for you not to do what you're doing. Because
just hold on there. Just hold on there, Vicky Michael. Just hold on there. You've just touched on a lot of things just in that few minutes that you have just spoken. Okay. I am glad that we have some men on this platform tonight. Thank you, Master John Mara. John says it is true that some men, some fathers are very selfish. If mothers can be a little bit softer to their children's father, okay, he's well balanced there. That he is suggesting for some mothers to be a bit kind to their children's father for the sake of the children. So this, I know, like we just said, some men are abandoned for various reasons. Okay, abandon if you don't want the relationship. Nobody is going to force because nobody is in your shoe. Nobody knows, this is the whole purpose where I wrote my book anyway. So don't judge me. I'm a single parent. But us being, whether you're a single father, an estranged father, your place in the child's life must not be replaced. Even when maybe physically, like I said earlier, your other half will have moved on and it feels like another man is looking after your child. I think you should be happy if your child is well looked after, but still, do what you can. Establish a good relationship with the other. There has to be a form of diplomacy, not just going about being upset and the child suffers emotionally in the process. Now, another thing that my gentleman has just said, there is a difference of being a sperm donor compared to being a father. Wow, that is deep. There is something else you said. There's a difference between, did you say parent and parenting?
Yeah.
Ooh, that is also deep. Let's just review things as we speak about it. So I can be a parent, but that does not mean I am parenting. I am playing my role, whether I am at home with the child as a man or I am outside of the house. Wow. No time for excuses, our fathers. No time, because it's amazing. We come online sometimes and we see a lot of people giving their views about the downhill of the youth. Things are happening with our boys, especially our boys, left, right, and center. You have all those things going on. But it is some of us men, I'm just saying that to represent him. It's some of our fathers, some of you all out there that have failed your children. And it needs to be addressed. Thank you, Nicky Michael. You can continue.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor Flo. It's just as you were speaking regarding the parenting and being a parent. So this is what I liken it to. And there is this legal term that we use here in the UK, legal guardian. You might be a legal guardian, but you are not being a parent to the child. You are not shaping. It's just legally you're the one responsible for them, but you are not doing anything to adds to their life. You're not doing anything to help build them or shape them. You're just not present. You're just not present. So we cannot have that kind of situation where fathers are just not present. And if you're going to be present, even in relationship where the two people are together, you don't want, again, a situation where the woman is always the one telling you to be present. Oh, do something with your children. Oh, this, it's like the woman is there taking lead again. And it's all well and good to say we want to be leaders. Oh, the man is the leader, is the head of the home. But let's face it, in what way do you demonstrate being head of the home? What comfort and what joy do you bring to your spouse? What comfort do you bring to your children? What assurance do they have that, yes, that is around, I feel safe, I feel secure? Are you approachable? Or are you always dismissing them? People don't realize it's also a form of abuse, negligence. It's also abuse. You don't have to curse that child. You don't have to speak bad or ill words against that child. The fact that you cannot grant them your attention, your needed attention, negligence, that is abuse. You are saying they are not important enough. They are not worth your time. That is a serious abuse. It really brings down the confidence of that child. So how does the child go and hold their head up high and feel that they are worth someone else's time? How do they see themselves? We need to be very careful how we parent. It needs to be very active and not passive. And when we have a situation where the woman is now encouraging you to do something, take that, be accountable, and take that as, oh, okay, I've been neglecting something. Now this is a nudge. This is an opportunity. And that's how you must see it. Sometimes people drop the ball here and there a bit. I drop the ball here and there a bit. And then my wife will come and say, oh, we really need to do this. Instead of saying, leave me alone, and then strumping and saying, yeah, I'm the man kind of thing, and just dismiss what she says. I could easily fall into the wrong waters in terms of my parenting. So you are there. And that's why this term that two is better than one is very important, because where you are kind of not doing right, or maybe you are too strict as a parent, or you've done something and the other parent sees another side of it, I would wait after the punishment has been dispensed, and then I will call my wife aside and said, you know what, this and this is what I think was happening there. Okay. And then for next time, we know what to watch out for. And sometimes, you get worked up, and then the other side pulls you back and tells you, okay, calm down. That kind of partnership is very important, but it works when you actually listen. And it's very important, that collaboration. You need to work together. Even when you are not in a relationship together anymore, you need to work together and function for the benefits of the children. You need to learn to be civil and work together. It's partnership.
All about the children.
Yeah.
All about the children and how they are being affected. Somebody has just asked a question, Michael.
Okay.
Says, what about if the mother is not allowing the father to play his role? How can you address that? I think these are some of the things we're talking about, because I know that there are some factors. Maybe if there is a court order, maybe, for example, there's a court order that there is no way a reasonable mother will not want, because just doing it by her own is hard. Sometimes some women, for some reasons, some mothers have disallowed their fathers because we just don't know the situation. But in most cases, there might be a court order. Now, if there's a court order, Master John, everything the father has to do, or vice versa, they have to do it according to the court paper. So, for example, if they say you have in the children weekends, You know, there have been situations where it is the father's turn to have the children, and some fathers don't turn up. And sometimes the mothers do get frustrated to the point that they say, you know, what's the point? You know, I've had scenarios where I have counseled and encouraged, you know, some women who would be in that situation of giving up. Let's call a spade a spade. We are not backing a woman here, we are not backing a man here. The point we are saying, a lot of fathers are not taking responsibility to the point at which they should. And these are some of the excuses we are talking about, Master John Mayer. These are some of the excuses, because the father might want to say, the woman doesn't allow me to see my kids. You know, so maybe where there's a court order, I would encourage the man, because you have some fathers, you know, if there's a court order, go by the court order. Don't be upset. It is a process. What tends to happen, the process will always be reviewed. As long as the court is involved, you have no choice as a father, but use the allocated time that you have been given to still make that time worth it and spend it with your child. When you're supposed to make a phone call, make that phone call. And I want to address our mothers, please. There might be bitterness. Thank you, Mr. Carl. Mr. Carl says some women, because of bitterness, refuse. I do understand. I fully understand. Now we're talking vice versa, because like we say, you have some fathers that are the ones that are the main carers, and their partners have been estranged, you know. But please let us consider that this is about the one thing I know about a child. They have not seen their father for years. The father turns up one day, and the father comes with gifts and all of those things. That child will appreciate so much. They forget all the pain and all the trouble. They will be asking questions. Where have you been all this while and whatever? You know, when Jesus said, let us be like little children, regardless of the pain, that child still wants to start finding interest, to find out a bit why their father was not there in the first place. Where have you been, Dad? And you know, you can always start building that relationship again, but don't leave it there just because, you know, you have all these reasons. You know, Mr. Carl said fathers should try and fight for their right to their children. In this country, United Kingdom, we have a group called Fathers for Justice. Despite me being a woman, I do support, because there are some men, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Some men were kicked out of their homes because of infidelity, and the woman said, I don't want you anymore. We cannot judge for that woman because she's in her shoe. Some people have been kicked out, some men have been, fathers were kicked out of home because they mismanaged their finance. You know, some people were just not responsible, they were couch potatoes. We've had stories. And so people have been denied access for various reasons. And we used to have this group called Fathers for Justice. They will go on top of the Houses of Parliament, and that's where they will do their demonstrations. They used to mount buildings to do their demonstrations. So, Mike, what else would you like to add to this?
Yeah, regarding, I believe, the question or the contribution from one of the audience, you know, talking about what if the woman is not allowing them. Yeah, I just want to deal with that and ask this question. How far as a man are you willing to go to be there for your child? You know, you cannot afford to make excuses. It doesn't matter how difficult the woman is. And yes, some women are very difficult. They beat her. Again, when I say how far are you willing to go? Are you willing to apologize profusely to this woman and say, look, anything it takes, I'm here to support my child. You know, I'm here to be there for my child. And whatever difficulty or resistance you encounter, take it as, look, well, before we produced this child together, after all, I knew this woman. I made a decision. Nobody pushed me into it. So you can't have your cake and eat it. That is the situation you are dealt with. That's what you find yourself in. You made the decision. You have to take responsibility. as far as I'm concerned, painful as it is, don't give yourself that excuse not to be in that child's life. Continue to try. Continue to communicate with that woman. Okay, how can I help? How can I be of help? How are you? And some men think they can care about their children and not care about the mother of the
Thank
child.
you. Thank
It,
you.
it is not
You
possible.
just can't separate those things.
It is not possible. It doesn't work. It just creates that air of bitterness that, you're just using me to take care of your child, and then you come and see the child whenever. It creates that bitterness. And especially when it's a case where you left the woman, she was all in. She believed this was it. Because the situations are different from woman to woman. This bitterness does not come from thin air. It doesn't even just come from the abuse. It comes from a deep hurt. It comes from a deep hurt. What promises did you make and you went back on your word? And some of them, it's also a sign of insecurity. They are not secure enough to believe that you will truly be there for that child. If you can walk out on me, what's to stop you from walking out on this child and leaving them heartbroken like you've left me? So there's a lot of things that go on in the mind of the woman that you do not know as a man, or you perhaps don't think of. So sometimes let us try and step into other people's shoe and just try to understand what they are going through. And then I think it puts you in that place where you can have this determination to say, okay, I've wronged. I am going to do whatever it takes to right what I can right in this wrong. And persevere, brothers. Persevere. That is called taking responsibility. You have to persevere, no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult. You have to persevere to be there for your child. And please make sure the woman is okay. Don't just call and say, how is Johnny? Because one thing that I was reasoning one day was, if the woman is fine, there's a high likelihood the child is fine. If the woman is not fine, there is a very high likelihood the child is not fine. Because if they are in a poor mental state of health, that child will suffer it too. Because that child lives with them. The child will experience it too. So always make sure that you also look out for the woman as well. And if you are in a relationship, you have to have that conversation with whoever you're in a relationship with, or your wife or your spouse. You have to have that relationship that this is right. This is the right thing to do. I have to make sure that this woman, who is the mother of my child, is okay. Yes, it's a bit complex. Some people might not like it. Your current wife might feel, bro, that is the situation you put yourself in. This is why it is not a joke when you're making the decision to be with a woman. It is not to fulfill just worldly desires and worldly pleasure. Oh yeah, we can enjoy ourselves now. Marriage is a huge, huge responsibility. It takes patience, it takes endurance, and a willingness to change and to grow. Men are less likely to want to change. Most men just want it to be the same. Oh, but when we got married, you knew what you were getting married to, and you used to be like this. The woman has changed. She's moved. You don't want to move. You're like, let's stay here. She's moved. You need to be growing. You don't want her to leave you behind, because the friction you are now having, and what you are now calling irreconcilable differences, is because somebody does not want to move. A lot of times people don't want to change. Change is occurring. Okay, how do you adapt to the change that is happening? How do you get involved in that change so that you two can mutually and together facilitate your change and your growth? Because growth will happen. It's like having a child You're not going to tell the child, oh, no, 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 I like you at 3 years old. I don't want to deal with a teenager. No, 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 no. I prefer to deal with a 3-year-old. No, it doesn't work that way. As a result of life, change happens. It's an inevitable process. You can't pause time. We might wish to, but we can't. In the same way, change, just as we physically age. This state I'm in right now, this youthful looking state, it's not permanent. It is a transitory phase I'm going through.
Thank you, Big Michael. I think Master John agrees. He said he agrees with you that when you mentioned about the woman being an important person in the life, in the life of the child or in the lives of the children, whatever the situation might be. I just wanted to point out that like we have said on this platform before, everybody's scenario is different. In the case where maybe your children or your child's father has passed away, I find myself in that situation. So like Lady Beth said earlier on, Lady Melissa said you are nailing this conversation. So, one thing I like about this conversation, we have men talking as well. And this is a man talking to other men. So, this is just for us to find the balance. For those of us who, you've lost your husband, you've lost your children's father, coping, it's not easy. But like we have said on here earlier, we have to just pay keen attention and look for the right kind of men. Lady Nadia mentioned that earlier, men with right standing. There are men with right standing. I have those kind of men in my life, in the lives of my children. I have those kind of men that I don't have any worries that they are going to abuse my children when I turn my back, because we still have to protect our children in that sense. So please, again, let's avoid the excuses to say, oh, I don't have any man that can, that my children can look up to. No, look for them. Look for them as, as mothers. Look for those men. There must be one or two around you that your children can look up to, that you want to say to your children, I'm going to complain you to this uncle today. I say that to my children, and they don't want me to complain them to some of those uncles. I think that's very important. Yeah, I have somebody smiling here. But it's very, very important for us mothers that have lost, the fathers of our children. Whatever led to their death, circumstances can be different. Now, obviously, let's also not forget that some fathers will never have, well, maybe for a long period of time, some fathers won't be able to have access to their children, especially if they are being put on maybe the sex offenders list, or if they have been classified as abusers or groomers, anything that might put that father in trouble with social services and the police, or maybe some of them are in jail. So it takes a long time, because, for example, as a father, if you've come out of jail, you have to go through the whole rehabilitation process. And I know it can be frustrating. Some of the killings that have taken place, you see this person came from jail and the next thing they kill their entire family, all because of this thing. And the kids are the innocent ones in the midst of it. You hear stories that, okay, it was the father's time to have access to the children. The next thing you heard that they were all burnt in a car a few years ago. The story was flying around of the day a father had access to his children. Some things only, we cannot control. Well, most of them we can, and we can just hope for the better. All we're saying here is those of us that have access. So now we've looked at the various categories of people that will have access to their children. You have conditional access. Some men don't have any conditions. Regardless of what they have done, the mothers allow them access to the life of it. So we've looked at all these categories right here. So, please, the point we are making is for you to try by all means, because some of the things we've mentioned here, if you're not living up to it as a man, what example are you leaving for your child? And we're talking here, yes, for the girls, for the girl child, but especially so for the male child. Right, just before we continue, don't forget, if you need a copy of my book, the details are on here. The payment details are on the screen. You can take a snapshot and make your payment. Make your payments to FS Lyman. It is a Barclays Bank account for United Kingdom. The source code is 201996. Account number is 63400-964. Now, if you're in the UK, it is £12 for your postage and delivery, or £16 if you're outside of the UK. Now, once you've done that, please do email me, florislyman@gmail.com. And you can also WhatsApp me on the mobile number +44 079 You can email me to just confirm that you've made your payment, and just send me your address to the email, and I should be able to get that through and post your book to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the feedback. Please do feel free to go on Amazon and make your feedbacks there. If you have read the book, you don't necessarily have to read everything, but go on and leave your reviews for me. That the reviews really, really do help. It doesn't have to be long, but just a description, one description, a sentence, can really make a big difference. Right. With Michael,
Yes.
in terms of being examples to our children, what are the do's and don'ts? Hey, because in where we come from, there's a parable that says like mother like daughter, or like father like son. The reason why people make statements like that is because the son has grown up and is doing exactly what his father was doing. What legacy did the father leave? Was he a legacy of taking this child from one girlfriend to the other, from one auntie's house to the other? But see, I know we'll come to the women, we'll come to the mothers at some point, but this thing is common, because some of those things we fail to realize that our children they are a very good copier of habits. And the habits that we are practicing now as parents to them, if they are used to seeing that, they are likely going to try it. So it's very, very important. There are some things or some lifestyles that we think we are living. Oh no, the child is a child, so it does not matter. No, we should not be having that kind of mindset as parents. So what are some of the do's and don'ts of the father? Remember, like we have said, whether you are at home or you are outside of the house, as long as you're still playing a role in your child's life, what are some of the do's and don'ts?
Thank you. So some of the things that you must not do is, one, give threats that you're not willing to carry through. They must know you as a man of your word. Even on the simplest, smallest things, always see it through. When you tell the child, I'm going to do this, see it through. If you don't see things through, after a while, they start taking your word for nothing. Your word means nothing to them. They have no real reason to listen to you. So you need to be very careful. Make sure that you stand behind your word. You stand as a man of integrity. And in terms of showing example, be the example that you want your children to be. Do you want them to pray? Pray, and pray with them. Do you want them to read? Read with them. Even their schoolwork, sit down and do it with them. You want them to walk. In fact, children love copying, and especially at a certain age. And this is why it's good for parents to be there, male or female, from a very young age, because they go through different stages in life. They go through this copy stage where they want to be you. Do you know how flattering it is? Your child wants to be you, wants to do everything that you do. That is a massive opportunity to get in there, teach that child, show them a good example. Very important. Do not be promiscuous, especially when you have male children, as male or female children. One, it makes the female think, oh, this is the example of a man. Oh, that's what men do. Okay, I have no choice. And be the kind of man you would like your daughter to marry, basically.
That's deep.
Be the kind of man you want your daughter to marry. So, because if you treat your wife anyhow and treat the children anyhow, are you surprised? If you're the one they're looking at as the example of what a man should be, and you are the nearest example they have as a father, what do you think would happen? So if you're abusive, it's quite likely that they will end up in an abusive relationship. Maybe some of them might be fortunate and escape that, but often you find that the pattern continues because they sort of expect that from men to be abused. We do not want to normalize things like abuse ever. We cannot do those kind of stuff. It is wrong. And also, you don't want to put your wife down because, again, it communicates to your daughter. I was going to say daughter, but actually it communicates to your daughter and to your son that, oh, mom is just, we don't have to listen to her. Careful what you're communicating by your actions, even when it's not verbalized directly. If you don't say it directly to your wife or to the children, there are things that you do that give them ideas at the back of their head. Be careful. Be in control of your own actions. And that means lead yourself well. These are the things you have to do. And the don'ts, you definitely do not tear them down. You do not tear your wife down. You are a leader. You are in a place of service. You build them up. You build them up. You take care of them. A shepherd, we like all the scriptures. And for those of us who are Christians, and apologies to those who are not, but we talk about, being a shepherd. A shepherd looks after. It's funny, the roles that we have assigned strictly to women, oh, the nurturing, oh, it's just more, yeah. But actually, when you look at the role as a leader, it includes being able to nurture. You need to build your nurturing ability. You find some women become so comfortable, they even come and call their husband daddy, and sometimes you don't know what that woman is missing in her life. And seeing you not just as a husband, but as a father, in a sense, you have that covering over her. You know what? Embrace both roles. Embrace both roles and be an excellent example to her. Be that reassurance that, look, this is what it means to be a man. And whatever bad examples you've had, look, this is a different example. You cannot box everyone into one basket. So it has powerful impacts. It has a powerful impact. It has the ability to loosen someone's tension. People who are tense around men, there's a way you nurture and then begin to reassure someone. And then barriers begin to break down. Some women that we complain and say, oh, they are difficult, they are this. Do you know what? If some of us are leading properly, some of them just need to observe one particular character trait might be what breaks down every wall they've ever put up in their life. The difficulty that everybody said, this woman is so difficult, and all of a sudden, you're like, no, I didn't experience difficulty. There was something that you did that completely shattered those walls. So what is it you're not understanding about your woman? What is it about women? Because often we don't talk about relationship. We don't talk about, male or female points of view. So people don't take time to understand each other. We like to say men are for Mars and women are for Venus. That is nonsense. People come up with excuses when they don't want to make effort to change things. Oh, it's just okay to say, oh, we're from different planets. We will never really understand each other. So, oh, let's just leave it. No, it's a lie. You can.
Wow.
You can work towards
Wow.
understanding and do so as a man.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, I call him my deacon, Pastor Ebuche. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Our time has been well spent. I think I am going to bring you back on, hopefully in the new year by the special grace of God. And I think key things we have picked from this today is for our fathers to be there as much as you can. Let's run away from excuses, please. Let us do our best. Sometimes your baby's mother is going to be frustrating you because they will be upset about things, blah, blah, blah. Things are going to happen. You will have a court order. You will have been taken to the child support agency. Whatever, remember, you're still needed in your child's life. Do your best, fathers. And to all the fathers that have been there in the lives of their children, kudos to you. And continue to make the effort to be in their lives. You know, as we go into this week, I really want to pray. I pray for families, I pray for homes, I pray for fathers, those that want a second chance. I pray that you will have a second chance, because God is the one that gives us more than a second chance. In the name of Jesus, for as many children that have suffered as a result of not having their fathers present in their lives, or fathers not being up to their roles, oh God. Father, we pray for restoration. We pray for peace in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Father. We bless you. We appreciate you. We give you all the praise and all the glory. In Jesus' name, we are prayed. Thank you so much, viewers, for joining us today. Vicky Michael, thank you so very much for your time, and my regards to your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pastor Flores.
To close us, viewers, thank you, and I wish you all a blessed week. Once again, compliments of the season to you, Lady Melissa, Pastor John Mara, Minister Carol, to you all that have joined us, compliments of the season in advance. May the Lord crown the rest of our year with goodness. Amen. Thank you so much. God bless you, and have a great week. See you next Sunday by the special grace of God, 7 p.m. Thank you. Thank you.